Hey, what's going on? Today we're going to get out for a change, get on the bike, and I have some things to drop off at FedEx. I should be able to do this safe without infecting myself or anybody else. Hey, welcome back. I'm so glad you could join me. I've been trying to get back in the habit of posting videos. Did a live video 2 weeks ago, just chatting. And last week, I just got really busy. I didn't get one done. So I wanted to make sure I got one for today. Well, I had to get out on the bike anyway, so I could go drop a package off at FedEx. I've got a package to drop off at UPS. Last time I had the bike out, I thought I really need to check my air pressure. It wasn't super bouncy, but it felt a little low. And that has not changed. If anything, it's gotten a little bit worse. It's kind of bouncy now, but it'll get me to the drugstore and back. Drugstore is the drop-off point for FedEx. Hopefully they're open. I'm not even sure. Another thing that coronavirus has really hosed up. I mean, a pretty minor thing, all things considered. So how's everybody doing? Everybody's still okay? Everybody's still healthy? Got food, all that good stuff? Toilet paper? I don't know why I am jammed up in traffic. Why are all these people out? It amazes. Oh, because somebody was turning. If I really had a choice, I wouldn't be out here right now. I mean, maybe I'd be out riding. That would be good for me. A buddy of mine's girlfriend makes jewelry, and she wanted pictures of the jewelry for, marketing and all that good stuff. So I'm like, sure, I'll do it. But I didn't have the right lens. So I rented a couple lenses, and then they canceled like 2 days ahead of time, postponed it. And I'm fine with that. I'm cool. It's no big deal. I understand there are extenuating circumstances, so it's cool. No worries. I did get to play with the lenses a little bit. It's kind of fun. But now it's time to get the lenses back. So I have to send them back, which means I have to go drop them off. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. It seems you can't post anything to social media without somebody being nasty about it. And I think the problem is where we forget that other people can have opinions too. And they can have other opinions without necessarily being stupid or antisocial or anti-patriotic or whatever, without being wrong. And I spend a lot of time thinking about this because I'm in a social media world. I'd actually considered for a while getting off of social media altogether, and I was really ready to pull that trigger until I decided to start building a photography business. If you're going to build a business, it's really hard not to use social media. So, I spent a lot of time thinking about this, but here's what I've come to. I think when people get online, or even in person, I suppose, and their opinion is the only one that matters, their opinion is the only one they care about, I tend to think that people want to shape their world in their image. Things have to be my way or the highway. I want everything to be the way I think it should be. I can't be offended. I can't be bent out of shape. When I was playing music, I would bring in a piece of music that I wrote to other musicians, and I really wanted them to put their spin on it. I want them to bring their talents and what they do best to it. The one reason that people have a right to their own opinions, I'm okay with that, is that I think our uniqueness makes us valuable. I think we all have a part to play in things. I don't really want everybody to be like me. If I did, I could just do it all myself. I want people to bring what they have to the table. We see it in the biker community. People get trashed on for doing things differently, for being weirdos or what have you. They always have. But I think the original biker community really embraced that. And I think it was made richer for it. So I value people's differences. I know we're not always comfortable with people's differences, but I do not want the world to look like me all the time. I think it'd be a terribly boring place. So value people's differences. Number 2, I make too many mistakes. I have screwed up too many things throughout my life to think that I have all the answers. I do not want to run the world. I'm not interested. I'm okay with a consensus, but I don't want it to be all in my image because I am too flawed, and I'm okay with admitting it. Tell you what, changing some lanes and going over bumps, though, I have got to check my air on these tires when I get home. I mean, there are certain non-negotiables, you know. You cannot take advantage of victims. You cannot take advantage of children. You really shouldn't be taking advantage of people, period. But as far as the opinion you hold, it's all your game. I don't have to agree with it. I don't have to endorse it. You know, there's the old saying that says, I may not agree with you, but I'll defend to death your right to have your own opinion, or something like that. Butchered that, didn't I? Well, look at how many people are out in the middle of a day. I mean, it's not as busy as it normally is, but are all of these people really essential right now? Really? All of them? Right now? I know they're not all going to drop off packages because it would be much more crowded here. No, dude, take your time. That'd be fine. I'll be right back. And I'm back. Yeah, you walk through the store and somebody takes about 3 steps back as you walk by, and you think, the virus hasn't changed that at all. We'll say there's a downside to riding a motorcycle during a pandemic. I would love to go to Arby's. Yeah, they don't really like it when you pull the motorcycle through the drive-thru. Matter of fact, some of them are like, you can't drive a motorcycle in here. They certainly don't like it if you walk through the drive-thru. That throws them all off their game. At Starbucks. I would have loved to have stopped at Starbucks for a coffee. I have no place to keep it. But that's okay. It's one of the prices you pay, and I'm more than willing to pay it. You think people are keeping social distancing in their cars? One of the guys that I work with said his mail carrier just tested positive for COVID. I guess it'll live on paper for several days. You know, we've been kind of sequestered since the beginning of this thing. One might almost call it a quarantine, but it's self-imposed. Really just because we want to be on the safe side. But, you know, there are exposures that you put yourself up to, like getting the mail. So it's still pretty important to wash your hands all the time. Because even if I'm living that hermit life, you know, I've still got exposure vectors. Yeah, this person is definitely social distancing with her car. Oh no, she's just changing lanes. Without a turn signal. Had she used the turn signal, I would have known. Like, I'm not one of those idiots who's like, oh, if I get COVID, I get COVID. But there is a small part of me that thinks, if I'm going to get it, I'd really just as soon get it over with. Ideally, I'd rather not get it. I'd rather not you get it either. So I've just been playing it safe. Well, let's get back to the topic at hand. Why people are entitled to their own opinions, and that's okay. Or, subtitled, why I don't want to create the world in my image. Number 3, it's too much work. You know, down here in South Carolina, we still have a lot of really large mansion-like plantations and stuff. And just huge houses. Huge, gorgeous houses. But after living in my middle-class, humble abode, and finding out that I'm terrible at cleaning stuff, I'm terrible at maintaining stuff, I honestly pass those houses now and I think, that is gorgeous. I have no desire to live there. And I've heard people say, well, if you could afford that, you could afford a staff. Doesn't matter. That's just another set of problems. You know, is Griselda stealing the silverware? I don't know. Just don't want to deal with it. It's too much work. And for what? Bragging rights? It's the same way with building the world in your own image. It's too much work. You know, I don't want to have to argue with everybody. A lot of times people will come at me and start arguing, and not even arguing, but they start getting intense about things. I'll just let it go. I don't care. I don't have the time or patience to police you, and smiting is not an option. Well, not one that's generally accepted anyways. I don't have the time, the patience, or the emotional will to make everybody think the way I think. I'm to the point where I'll start explaining why I think about something, and somebody will argue with me, and I'll just, okay, fine, that's good. Okay. So I'm not going to convince them. I'm clearly not going to convince them. They're so far entrenched in what they believe, they're not interested in anything else. So yeah, I don't want to form the world in my image. That's just, ain't got the time or the patience. Life is too short for that. And that's why I don't mind people if they wave from the bike, or they don't wave from the bike, or they ride a sport bike, or they ride a cruiser, or they ride a Kawasaki or a Harley, or they shoot with Canon or Nikon, or they use pro photo lights, or they use flashpoint lights. It's funny, I couldn't remember the one I use, right? I don't care. Use what works for you. Do what works for you. As long as you're not hurting anybody that can't defend themselves, I don't care. Or putting me at risk. Don't care. So, thank you again for taking the trip with me. It's so much more enjoyable when you're riding along. And with that, I'm going to say have a great day. Stay safe out there, both on the bike and off. Go wash your hands. And do something nice that you could do for somebody while still maintaining your social distance. Because it's been a while since the world has needed to be made a better place like it has now. So, thank you again for being here. I will see you next time. Bye.